Books we read. Books we read. La 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 la.
Hi guys, welcome back to Between the Pages and thank you so much for tuning in. Today we're joined by a very special guest, my dad. He's here with a book he's completely obsessed with, like seriously. Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. Still don't know if I can pronounce the surname correctly. Anyways, मैंने मेरे पापा को कभी भी इतना excited कोई book के पीछे नहीं देखा है. Like the way he talks about it is just incredible. And I also believe that I got my reading habits from him, so this episode is extremely special to me. So, what are we waiting for? Let's welcome the one and only Mr. Dilip Lillaney. Hi, Baba. Welcome to Between the Pages.
Thank you for having me here.
तो कैसे हो?
मैं ठीक हूँ, आप कैसे हो?
बढ़िया. तो फिर can you introduce yourself for the guests?
Okay, my name is Dilip Lillaney. I'm an engineer by education, and I've been working in the IT industry for around 20 years now. And I like reading books, especially related to self-improvement and finance.
So, what are some of the books that stood out to you in finance?
So in finance, one of the best books, especially related to personal finance, has been Rich Dad Poor Dad. Then there's another book called The Richest Man in Babylon, which is a very good one. Explains to you financial concepts with the help of stories, which is a very old book, but very readable. You could probably finish it in an hour or two. So that's been two of my favorites.
आई रिमेम्बर मैं छोटी थी तो आप मुझे कितना फोर्स करते थे मुझे पता है ये वाली बुक्स पढ़ने पर मैंने अभी तक ये बुक्स पढ़ी नहीं है आई स्टार्टेड रिच डैड पुअर डैड बट देन आई स्टॉप्ड इट तो and what was the other topic you mentioned you like reading books about?
Self-improvement mostly, yeah.
So what is the book that I'm assuming that the book you came here is about?
Yeah, the book that I have is Don't Believe Everything You Think. So I think this is one of the best books related to self-improvement.
I've heard about this, like घर पे आप बात करते ही उस बारे में, but then एक content creator है मुझे उसका नाम नहीं याद है, तो उसने बोला था कि 5 books that have impacted me a lot and this was in the list.
Yeah.
So can you give us a gist of what this book is?
So the basic thing that the book tries to convey is that suffering is optional, right? So we tend to suffer a lot because we tend to think a lot about things. And that is the whole gist of the book, but he tries to explain it with different examples and stories throughout the book. And most people spend their lives getting to this fact. And if you get that at an earlier age, maybe it will help you in your life. So that is what he's trying to help people with. He's himself, I think, pretty young. So you've heard a lot of spiritual masters saying the same thing in different words. So he just put I think, a simplistic view on it, which is what I liked.
So what was your initial impression of the book?
So actually, I had seen this book a couple of times, but I didn't pick it up. I don't know for what reason, but we picked it up on our way back from Bombay to Pune, and I couldn't keep the book down. So it's just 100 pages, but the way it hit me is like almost no other book. So that's the reason it's one of my favorites, and I've recommended it on LinkedIn as well now as my top book. So yeah, it's every page is like it has wisdom in it, and it's very simple to understand. Even I think a teenager, if he picks it up or she picks it up, can easily understand it.
So you say कि ये book is just different from all the other books, like top हो गई है अब आपके list में.
I wouldn't say it's. Yeah, you could say
it's different to you as a heart में कि अलग
yeah,
है.
it's so I'm a simple guy and I like simple things, and this guy has put stuff which is considered spiritual in a very simple way. So if you get it, it'll make your life, is what I would say.
So फिर how does so okay question answer हो गया. So how was you have mentioned authors writing style. Were there any stories, particular stories that impacted you?
Yes, one in particular was very nice. So there's a story about an empty boat. So the way the story goes is there's this monk in this ashram, right? And the regular practice of the monks is that you do a daily routine and you have to meditate for a while. And once the meditation is finished, you have to share your experiences with your seniors so that they can guide you right on what you're doing right or wrong, or maybe how they can help you. So there's this one monk who tries to meditate every day, and he gets distracted a lot, right? So anything could distract him: his friends making noises, or people in the background talking, or the sound of the birds. Anything and everything irritates him, and so he whenever he completes his meditation and he goes to his seniors or the mentor that was assigned to him, he asks him the question, do you really know what is making you angry or distracting you? And he could never answer that question. So he thinks it's because of external factors, right? So what he tries to do is he goes away from the ashram and tries to do meditation over there. But then something else disturbs him over there. Some other birds coming into the lake, making their own noises, doing their regular stuff, right? And then again he gets irritated and he tries to go further away. Once he sees a boat and he thinks, I should go into the middle of the lake and do meditation over there. Nobody will come to disturb me over there. So he tries that. So the first day goes fine. He's very happy that nobody disturbs him and his meditation was superb. Second day, same thing happens. He had a very good experience. So he thinks, yeah, I've cracked it. Now I can go to this place in the middle of the lake, just do my meditation over there, and everything will be good at least for those few hours. So on the third day, what happens? He's sitting there and he hears a noise as if a boat is approaching him, right? And obviously he gets distracted because he's in a boat alone and there's nobody to support him. So he opens his eyes and he's like shouts at the boat that stop, don't go ahead, don't come here, otherwise you'll bump into me. But there's no reaction from anyone. And he keeps shouting and shouting, and as the boat comes near and crashes into his boat, he sees that there is no one in the boat, right? So at that point, he realizes that no other external factor is responsible for what's happening inside his own head. It's he himself who was getting distracted with everyone else. So ultimately, it's you who has to understand this, that external situations or factors cannot trouble you if you are not giving them the power to trouble you. And from that day on, when he goes back to the ashram and he meets the senior monk immediately realizes that he has, understood what is making him angry. So a similar thing happened to me. I used to get irritated when I used to do my meditation. But after reading the story, the quality of my meditation has changed a lot. So that's the way this book has such small stories which help you realize what you are doing wrong and how you can improve.
तो वो बुक में लाइक स्टोरी होती है फिर उसका लेसन होता है, इज दिस द वे?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. इट्स intermingled throughout. There are statements, there are stories, there are beautiful quotes in there. So one of the best quotes that I liked, in fact every chapter starts with a quote, but one of the best ones which I read is that anxiety is mind without control and flow is control without mind. So I think it's in James Clear, Atomic Habits.
But if you also like watch Inside Out too.
Yeah, so Inside Out is similar. You'll see how.
But Inside Out 2 में anxiety is there. And
Okay,
then she,
I don't know. I've not seen Inside Out 2, but Inside Out is, I would say, a movie in the similar vein where it explains what's going on inside your head, right? Most people do not realize that there are a lot of things going inside their head. They feel angry, they feel agitated, they feel fear, they feel a lot of stuff, but they don't understand that. So basically this book tells you how to, that is the root cause of all your suffering, that you're thinking too much, and how to alleviate yourself from those sufferings.
okay. So how would you recommend this book to others?
I think everyone in their life is at some point, struggling with things mentioned in this book or suffering, right? So there are two types actually, which even Sadhguru mentions, right? If you've seen his videos. So there is pain, which is physical, right? When you get hurt, that pain you'll feel it. But suffering, he also says that it's optional, and the way he also mentions it is that if you keep thinking about the same thing again and again, then you suffer, right? If the event happens and you move on and do your stuff, you won't suffer. But the thing that happens with us is an incident might have happened a long time ago and we keep thinking about it all the time, and that is what bothers us. It's not that the event happened, but the thinking behind the event that we keep doing. So for example, somebody said something, right? And the example that Sadhguru gives is the same, that if somebody praises you, you are all happy that somebody has praised you. But when somebody says something bad to you, he has said it or she has said it and she has moved on, right? And you keep thinking about the thing that, oh, why did she say that? If she could have said something else, or whatever the story is going on in your brain, right? So that is the cause of your suffering, and that is what the book is trying to tell you. So it's through various examples. I've just given a few in our conversation, but if you go through it, maybe some will click with you and some might not, depending on where you are in your life. So I would highly recommend this book for anyone who wants peace of mind and joy in their life.
All right. So, is there anything आप मुझे पूछना चाहोगे?
First of all, congratulations for doing this for so long. So that's been a good thing, and I hope you continue. What is the best thing about doing a podcast, and what do you think is the worst thing about doing a podcast?
The best thing about doing a podcast, actually I'll start with the worst thing, because मैंने एक सुना था कि if someone starts with a bad thing, it means there's so much good, but they're just saying the bad first to talk about the good stuff. And if someone starts with the good stuff, it means they have had a bad experience at first. I mean, so they're talking about the good stuff shortly, and फिर बड़ा bad stuff चालू हो जाएंगे. This is how people also give क्या बोलते हैं, reviews to movies and everything. So I'll start with the bad stuff.
Okay.
I think the bad stuff is not exactly bad stuff. It's just challenging stuff that I go through during podcast. It's like मैंने कुछ यहाँ से trick ली है, मेरे को इम्प्लीमेंट करनी है. कभी कभी मेरा दिमाग इतना घूम जाता है वो क्वेश्चन लाइक पॉडकास्ट करते करते कि मैं भूल जाती हूँ कि वो क्या करना था. So that's a challenging part. Another challenging part is the अलग अलग टाइम पे मैं लोगों को मिलती हूँ. जैसे आज हम सुबह 6 बजे कर रहे हैं. I have to sacrifice sometimes, which थोड़ा ऐसे थोड़ा दर्द होता है, पर वो थोड़ा challenging हो जाता है. Because I don't find any other thing challenging.
Okay.
बाकी ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. And like maybe जब कोई आता है घर पे, so making small talk with them, मेरे को थोड़ा डर लगता है.
Okay.
मुझे समझ नहीं आता कि क्या बात है. That's the challenging part. But then the parts that I like, I have met now 50 people. So 50 new people. And even if कई लोग मैं जिनको जानती थी, पर एक उनका अलग साइड का पर्सपेक्टिव दिख गया मुझे. तो I form a connection with all of the people that I shoot with. और क्या, like every podcast shoot is special. अलग यहाँ पे कुछ मस्ती हुई होगी तो वो अलग है. तो I can't really explain, but पूरा शूटिंग का वो like एक अलग ही मजा आता है. And then कई लोग थे जो शूट के बाद हमारे घर पे 1-2 घंटा बातें करते करते वो हुआ. तो हर एक्सपीरियंस में मजा आया था.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining Between the Pages, and yeah, I really like talking about books with you.
Thank you for having me. All the best.
I hope you guys liked today's discussion. Until next time, it's me, Aina Lillaney, closing the BDB book for this week. Keep reading. If you're enjoying Between the Pages, follow us on Instagram for more updates and bookish content. Just search for Between the Pages _BTP and see you there.
la 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 la